Our first video has been more about facade, but facade is only one point. Everything what I saw last 2 weeks, which I was visiting your followers, I saw just either non-isolation or wrong isolation.
Because the question that we obviously get now a lot is like, what can I do about it?
That is a really serious problem, but what I saw in every single building, including myself, it was absolutely wrong installation of the windows.
When I saw this the first time here on the island, like I was baffled.
Every single window is installed this way, and silicone is their primary isolation, which is absolutely wrong. The proper way how to install it is.
And they basically say like every 2-3 years, I have a proper investment to redo the house.
Yes.
And that's, I think, what we are talking about. It's no fun at all.
Yeah.
Besides all the money and all these things, the actual hassle and inconvenience and disturbance in your life is not worth it. The role of an architect, if they do supervision, then is basically to protect you. So you have your experience now with local workers.
Yeah, of course.
So tell me about it. Today I'm back with Filip. We are following up on our previous video. We got a lot of comments and questions, and Filip, I think, is got a lot of emails with people's problems and like the situations they unfortunately have to deal with. So today we want to talk about what can be done or not done, and really explain a couple of those comments and questions, because I think it's there's obviously like a language barrier from our side as well, because my native language is not English, so I don't know the right words for many things. That's why I call them things on our channel.
Yeah.
But also like our commenters raised a couple of things which have a technical background, why they are the way they are. And I think today we want to talk about this.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much.
So we wrote together a couple of, like, I wrote together the comments just so that we have a thread and see a little bit of a pattern here. And the first one, let's maybe start with the old houses and the breathable houses. So one commenter said like the old houses were better because they were breathing, and the moderns, they don't breathe, right? So besides the fact that the house isn't breathing, what Filip replied on this comment, I think it's a question like how you relate to it, because the old houses, they were not airtight. So there was a ventilation ongoing, the windows were not tight, they had stone walls. So generally they didn't have the same problem what we have today, but they had different problems.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So this was actually after I answered. I was thinking about it. I was even talking with the local people. I was talking to my guys. They are like, we are comparing like two worlds. So as you correctly said, that back then, when the old houses has been built very high quality, and the condition and quality of the house has been built on that age, on that requirements, on that time, which obviously today, if we would like to repeat again, camera and local requirements, especially thermal certification and all these kind of requests or technical requirements would not be approved. So you need to implement the multiple changes. And then when this old school is going to be mixed with the new school, a lot of problems, a lot of frictions occur. So when I was talking to the locals, they admit that in the past they have been excavating, they have been sourcing the sand from the rivers which has been naturally like freshwater rivers like Madeira and other. There was in Câmara da Lobos, I guess, also some source. But this has been
Exhausted.
So there is no more sand. So this is the first point. Like if we are going to build a house where we will be using concrete and stone, again, we will have the problem that the concrete will have probably the higher content of the salt than before, right? And this is the fact we cannot change. Although, if you want to bring the sand from the Portugal, from the mainland, but so this is just one topic, and the second topic is like ventilation and breathable and all those things. You know, modern construction require to have the house with a very seal and tight envelope, because the logic of the house construction or the house maintenance is you try to do everything you can in order to avoid external conditions, means like weather and conditions like sun and everything. getting inside. So you are using a lot of materials in order to prevent the weather getting in. But many people or many houses forgot to manage the interior conditions in like air conditioning or ventilation and all those things. So this is another topic. And the third perspective I have is like the worst situation is when you are building the old school house, but in some portion you are using the new modern stuff. Typical example is like you have a stone or concrete wall, and you connect the very high modern thermal isolated window, and then you have the physical issue. Then you have a problem.
Yes.
Because you have two, eventually maybe three different temperatures, but as we said, let's say minimum two temperatures, and then you have the humidity. And we all know when there is a high humidity or any relative humidity, you have two temperatures which are always giving you the dew point, or it's giving you the temperature where the humidity which is absorbing the air is going to be condensed on the surface of one temperature. So typical example is like you take out the beer bottle from the fridge, you put it on the table, and you see that the surface is wet, and it is just because there is a huge or the temperature delta between one environment and another one is above the capacity of air, humidity condense in the air cubic meter. Saying this way means when you have the concrete wall, which has different temperature, versus modern window, which has different temperature, and in the right humidity, which is not the problem to achieve the right humidity in Madeira, then you have two different temperatures touching each other, and the humidity is condensating on that connection. And then of course you have the problem. And people usually think that it is because the house is not breathing. But it is not necessarily the exchange of air. Is the necessary the problem is the temperature delta, differences of temperature under humidity or relative humidity of the atmosphere, which is those temperatures are in. So the best way how to, long story short, the best way how to fix it is use the modern, either very old technology and keep it old school and then no problem, or modern technology, calculate all these kind of thermal bridges and all these things, avoiding them. And then of course there is, but in order to avoid them, you need to have the 100% sealed envelope of the house.
Yes.
So thank you very much for everyone who contact me. I've been trying to, I answer everyone, and for some where I saw the pictures are showing really problem, I did my best to visit the houses and visit the problem, and I would tell you that I saw so many sad stories. It was very bad. All of those which I saw, it was definitely not the thermal bridge issue, and it was just the
facade.
not only, it was the all kind of combination of poor isolation. So I think so that if we come back to the topic like the ventilation and isolation, ventilation is big topic and it's very important, but it is much more important in our countries where there is during the proper winter, like you have minus, right? And you have a minus like a 2-3 weeks or minimum month, because then even during the day there is no plus, right? So then the house, the whole material inertia exhaust
cools down.
It's like condensator, lose the energy, it goes down, and then these kind of effects of thermal bridges are bringing additional problems. But I don't think so. This is here. What I saw the pure elemental isolation issues. And if we are talking about isolation or moisture, we are always talking about two different factors. The first one is the water in liquid form, ergo rain, getting inside, or we are talking about humidity, which at some point, at some place, condensate on the surface of material. Everything what I saw last 2 weeks, which I was visiting your followers, I saw just the first problem. I haven't seen, and included myself, I didn't have the problem with the humidity issues. Like the weather would be causing these issues. All issues which I had was just either non-isolation or wrong isolation, either from execution or from material. So, and I saw bad things. He actually helped me, because when I saw a lot of examples how the things can go wrong, I was very happy that my case was actually very good.
So it was not as bad as you
No, it was
thought.
it was I was feeling lucky and blessed that I'm the one who actually been lucky to not having that kind of issues.
So maybe let's touch on those examples, because the question that we obviously get now a lot is like, what can I do about it?
Mm.
Like, one thing is to avoid it, but all those examples that you visited, they are either completed houses, I guess,
Yes.
or almost complete. Either probably all
It was
complete,
complete.
all complete houses.
Yeah.
So the question is like, what do I do to fix that,
Yeah.
right?
Actually, sorry, I was visiting one which was in construction, and it was very beautiful house, multi-million project, and I saw serious issues, and I explained to your followers those issues, and I think so that the guys are going to have a discussion with contractor and the builder in order to fix them. There are still things which can be fixed. There are things which are a little bit more difficult to fix, but sorry that I disturb you, but 99.9% story which I saw, or cases which I saw, was finished house, uh, people in our age trying to retire, start a new chapter of their life in the paradise in Madeira, spending every money and investing a lot of investment into property, which at the beginning looks really like a beautiful house. Necessarily after 2 years realizing that it was just the lipstick on the pig, that at the end it was just a king bomb which start to be exploding, and in some cases, unfortunately, I had to explain that this is really serious problem. This is really, really bad in some cases.
And not that easy to fix
Yes.
as people would wish to.
Yes, and maybe at the beginning, our first video has been more about facade, but facade is only one point. So it's almost like when you have the software, or when you have equation or mathematical or homework. Let's say like you have a mathematical homework, and you have like 4 factors, and you are expecting some results. It doesn't matter that you fix one, still the result is not good. If you make the fault in 4 of those, or 3 of those, or even 1, still you have the bad result. So
And I guess the isolation one is the worst part, because it actually brings
yes,
the water,
yeah,
the liquid part into the structure. It's like the acrylic facade is basically just keeping it there, and then getting pushed out and breaks and whatever. But the root cause is the water that comes into the construction, and that's the difficult part to actually fix, right?
it is extremely difficult. And I would say that the isolation of facade is very difficult. It's a dirty job, but it's still possible to do because you have access to facade.
Mm.
But if you have the problems that you have, for example, walk-out basement or full basement, and you have the soil which is touching your 3-meter wall, even more than 3 meters, you don't have access to that place, and someone made it wrong, or made it absolutely nothing to isolate water. So that is a really serious problem, because you need to, in order to fix it, you cannot just put the new plaster. You have to really make it from the beginning right. I was thinking how to explain to to clients, and it is, I know maybe it sounds brutal, but imagine that
So he has a brutal example.
imagine that in this jar is a really lemon water, very good, tasty, very fresh, and someone pees in it, and that piece is representing the problem. I cannot fix it by putting or adding sugar. So if we want to fix it, to really have again a good quality, tasty, healthy water, you have to throw it away, you have to clean it, you have to let it dry, you have to put the new one, and you need to make it again. So it cannot be, there is, in some cases you can fix the problem, you can repair it, but in some cases you cannot. Just an example, you have the house which has the normal traditional facade. From the first look, facade doesn't have the problem, but the house has 3 floors, and 1 floor is completely basement, and 1 floor is walk-out basement. So it is like in the slope,
Which we have a lot.
which we have a lot, especially in Madeira. So basically you have minimum 6, maybe 7 meters of facade or of the walls which are basically holding the soil, and they are actually if it is raining, they are under hydrostatic pressure from the soil, because the water as is collected in the soil is behaving like a liquid, so it's like a dam, right? So it's pushing to to the concrete, and then this concrete wall is leaking this moisture inside, which of course is visible in interiors, in complete surfaces, as plasters which are falling apart or falling down. There is a salt. In many places I saw serious black mold, which is not a joke. For sure, it's not a joke. And fixing it that way that you are going to put the new facade is not the solution. You simply need to dig, you need to excavate around the whole house. You need to let it dry, because even if we are going to apply isolation, proper water isolation,
trap the
you just
already existing.
exactly and that it will take years in order to get rid of it. So you need to open everything, let it breathe, let it air dry it, and after a few weeks, eventually months, you can put a proper isolation, make a drainage. It needs to be a drain which will push the water out. There must be some sort of management that the water goes naturally out of the house.
So it's basically like where the building goes into the soil, where you build a drainage pocket so that there's no water pressure on the wall. So you isolate the wall and you fill this with like draining stones, make a pipe which collects this water and brings it out. So there are like detailed solutions, like how you do all of that correctly.
Yes.
But if you don't have it, it basically
new facade is not going to help.
It means you can't just do the cosmetic surface job. You need to remove the wrong materials, let it dry. You can obviously speed that up. Like I remember, like we had commercial projects where the client couldn't wait a couple of months, so they got in like industrial dehumidifiers,
Yes.
and like were really like getting the water out. It was much faster but super expensive. And then you do the right job in isolating and building the layers up, right? So that's
exactly.
the unfortunate reality, right? So if you have an isolation, and your problem is just that you have an acrylic facade, and underneath is everything healthy, right? Then you're a lucky person, and then you could theoretically use the acrylic as an underground and build up, which you did, I think, here, right?
Yeah. So if everything is if these kind of issues are trapped under the soil, the way how to fix it is just to take them, open it, fix it, and in many cases the way is that you need to go to the foundation of the house. So not only not the first meter, but go down into the foundation. Why? Because the capillary behavior of the liquids, mainly water, it's always going up. So if even the soil under the house will become wet, through the structure and concrete is pulling the water like a sponge, so it will always travel up. So you will eventually, even you do everything perfectly, you will still see that. There are also different strategy how you can do it, which I personally don't have experience with. I know theoretically that it works, and there are some companies who are specializing for that. Is that you are making isolation from inside. So if you imagine that you have a basement and you would like to dig and open pavings and everything make dirty, because it's a serious construction site. If you excavate all around, and many places you cannot get the excavator, so it needs to be warm bodies actually really shoveling and excavating the soil. So it's not easy work, and sometimes it can be also dangerous. If it is really deep, you need to have
and you often can't, because we have lots of retaining walls.
Yes.
We have very tiny plots of land which is on a steep slope, so they basically dig out an area. There's a retaining wall around, and there's a house, so you can't really dig down there, right?
So the system which I saw but never experienced is like you create isolation from inside.
Yes.
You make it like a pool from inside, but in the ground you dig like a compartment to collect create interior drainage. So if the water gets, you really collect it on the ground. There is the pump, overflow pump, which is actually you are using your sewage. You are pumping the extra water into the sewage, and then you are building interior additional wall in front.
Yes.
So you are keeping like a 5 centimeter gap, air gap,
which is ventilated.
ventilated.
Yes.
And then you are basically building the house in the house.
Yes.
Everything has benefits and negatives, right? So one of the negative is that you are losing the space, right? So, but
it's yeah.
But you are trading with the no mold. So, but then even this solution needs to be well designed and needs to be really think through.
Yes.
That you have the constant ventilation of that gap in order to avoid the moisture dew points and all those things. So it's definitely not that easy. It's very complex. I have no experience with that. I know that this kind of system, and there are companies who are specialized it for, but in some cases it's this problem. I saw many other cases like there was a roof without any gutters, or there was a gutters but there was no drip profiles, or there was a combination of multiple different problems. But what I saw in every single building, included myself, it was absolutely wrong installation of the windows. This is, I think, so pandemic in Madeira, the way how the windows are made and installed. They are becoming now very expensive, although the quality of the windows for that price, you can achieve better quality, much better quality in even mainland, I would say, Portugal, for the same price. But the windows itself is not the problem. The quality of the structure is not the problem. The problem is the way how they install it. Because and maybe after we discuss, you can make some. I can show you some examples. The way how they make it is that they firstly make complete screed of the walls.
Yes.
But here is my question. So what material they used to make this plaster on the wall? Because if you look to my windows, they have been installed in the middle. So this is the wall thickness, and you install the wall, the window in the middle. But they install it after the whole surface is done.
Yes.
But the surface from interior is going to exterior. So which material they use? Did they use different material for interior and different for exterior? Of course they didn't. So this is the first question. But the second question, or second problem, is that they just simply screw the window, and just because they use this solution to install the window, they have to keep the very small clearance between the frame and wall, usually 2-3 millimeters, which in some cases, especially big windows, is not enough, because you have temperature elongation, and you have the window is moving up down, and then when they install it, they usually don't use any foam, polyurethane foam, which usually is used.
There's no space for it, right?
Yes.
They just put silicone, or
they just put silicone from outside and inside.
Yes.
And that's completely wrong. This is absolutely failed. Why? Because the silicone is there. Every good installed window has a silicone, but silicone or even MS polymer or even polyurethane is not there to isolate. Is only aesthetical part.
Yes.
But here, every single window is installed this way, and silicone is their primary isolation, which is absolutely wrong. Because it is not the question if, the question is when this silicone will break, and when you have a little gap which will be filled by water during the rain. And what happened? There is no foam, so the water actually gets inside and is trapped, and it falls down. So suddenly it is like a little drops collecting water, and the water drops down on the bottom where it's absorbed by wall, and then of course you see that in inside and outside, or under, like you have the base of the window, you have the wooden floor, and it's all swollen, just because this is absolutely wrong. The proper way how to install it is to have the proper gap between wall and window, to put the special thermal or water hydro isolation tapes. There are multiple brands. There are better one, and there are, let's say, lower one, but it's not that expensive. It needs to be all around the frame, and then the facade and plaster from outside and inside
Should actually be over the frame.
it needs to be covering the frame.
Yes.
So it cannot be that the window is touching and sitting on the frame on the wall. No, the wall has to put their arms around the frame.
Yes.
And then this joint is covered by silicone.
So
Because that is like a two different materials.
In the way we do it, like the window comes first.
Yes.
Then we build the facade, and
Yes.
actually the isolation of the facade
Yes.
goes over the frame. So our frames are actually
Hidden.
wider.
Yeah.
They're even wider because part of the frame sits under the isolation.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then you just make your finished facade to the frame, and
that connection you cover by silicone because
Yeah,
you have
so-
two different rigidity of the material, two different elongation, two different behavior of the material.
Yes.
And that joint is
but
covered by
it's more
something.
like a visual thing.
Exactly. That point, that connection is covered with something which has elasticity, and that's
But under this whole thing, under
that's the silicone. Yeah.
under the thermal isolation, is actually what you said. This
Tapes.
this tape. So
Yeah.
the window is actually taped to the structural wall. So this is completely isolated, and then the facade comes on top. So even if something leaks through the silicone, where the wall touches or the render touches on the window, it doesn't really matter, because there is an isolation underneath. So
Yeah.
this is like when I saw this the first time here on the island, like I was baffled.
Yeah.
They even, like what I also find fascinating, they completely paint the house.
Yep.
There are no windows. So it's completely done.
It was my case as well.
Yeah, completely done. The facade is done. The inside is done, included the painting, and there's no windows in it, which is for me like the painting is the last thing I do when the house is
Before
like
furniture comes.
closed
Yes.
and there's no water coming in and all of that stuff. So it's a very interesting order of events.
Yeah.
Very unusual.
So in my case, in our house, it was exactly as you said. So when we invite the Windows guys, they said, oh, because we had just the bare house, and we invite them to measure the building openings, and they said, no, it's not finished. I said, what is not finished? No, it needs to be done this way. It needs to be done this way. And I was like, okay, so it's different. And I didn't realize that we will have these issues. And it was a builder who was actually managing it. So I said, okay. And so we finished everything, included the paint. Then the window guys came. They measured,
right?
and we were
They
waiting.
put first the stone
Yes.
at the bottom.
Yes, without isolation.
Without
Usually,
isolation,
yeah.
yes.
Why? But then, in our case, we have been waiting 9 months. So imagine that you have
The
open
whole house is 9 months open.
whole house, and we had we still have the how it's called, these roof windows,
Skylights.
skylights. Yeah, we have a skylights in multiple locations. So every rain actually watering the interior of our house. So, and then when everything was wet enough, then the windows came
and it's
they closed it. so,
Yes.
so that was unfortunately that was the case, and it is
So
as it is.
talking about all of these wrongdoings, like wrongdoings for us, because we are used to different processes. Here, it's not a wrongdoing because it's I don't know, tradition or the way it's done. I don't know who came up with this process, but I'm sure they had some reason for it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. But for us, it's a kind of wrongdoing. And the thing is, like, coming back to this question, if you are in this situation, what can you do about it, right? So I think we need to go back to educating and taking care that new buildings are done a better way, right? Maybe it's a compromise, maybe it's whatever, but everything needs to have a reason why it's done the way it's done, right? And it needs to have the right material, and it needs to have the right order, like right order in terms of, like, you know, like if you need to protect something from moist, it needs to be protected whatever way. It doesn't need to be the way that we're used to. Maybe there are different ways or better ways, whatever. But I think it's a educational thing that, and I think this is what we we both are passionate about to
Yes.
focus more on now.
Yes.
That actually everything that we build new, that we want to make sure that this is done right.
Yeah.
Right. And if you have an existing building and you have problems, like I don't think you can go and fix it. So you can again learn about how to fix it. So you can learn from our conversation,
Yes.
or Filip can give you some tips or insight. But there needs to be serious work done.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there is now hopefully a new generation of builders coming who also specialize in renovating.
Yeah.
Right, because that's also like a whole industry in itself.
Yeah.
Right, to actually how to renovate an old building, a wet building,
Yeah.
a non-isolated or thermal isolated building. So there are materials for that too, and people who specialize for that, and maybe new companies come and do that. But I think we focus on new buildings, right?
Yeah, yeah. So this was a question from many of the people who contact me. If I can come with my team and fix it, I would love to help. In many cases, I feel really sorry for the situation. But as you said, that I'm focusing for new buildings now. But I know that in the process of building the new houses, there will be always like the window, like maybe few weeks or maybe 2 months, that I will have nothing to do because just I will be waiting for permissions,
Yes.
or clients will be not ready or so, and so in that situation I will be able to take some micro projects to fix it. So yes, we can.
So still get in touch.
Yes,
I guess.
for sure. Yes, we can. But what I would say, like, my team capacity is completely busy now, 100% busy. I still have a capacity of myself, and I was answering to few of you that if you need, you can search the local builder, and I can help you. I can become your like a advisor or maybe like a construction inspector.
We could start supervising.
Yes, absolutely,
and
absolutely. And I would say yes, it costs some money, but if you really see that it is not the cost of money, it's investment to prevent the costs which will bite you in your ass in future for sure. 100% it's happened.
Yeah.
And this is not the question of Madeira. This is not the question of Portugal. This is question of every single country, every single construction company.
Yes.
Everyone is chasing profit.
Yes.
Every single company wants to make it faster, cheaper,
yes.
cutting corners. So to have someone who is independent, who doesn't have any relations to local companies, friends, cousins, and all those things, is really worth the money. It's worth the investment, because you would need to have the pair of eyes and ears watching and looking. And sometimes you need engineer who is there longer time. Sometimes you just need advice, and if you are there, you can watch those things. So sometimes it's just sit together, explain how it should be, provide the documents, and maybe to make like a checkpoint, like before they cover the part by soil that you don't see anything after. I have no problem to sit on my car, jump and go there and see and say yes, good. No, this needs to be changed. Be careful of those. This is all possible.
Yes, I did this for like, I don't know, more than 20 years. We were supervising, planning, supervising, and all of these parts. But even in Austria, where I was working, it was always the case that builders were cutting corners, not putting things in they should have done. So it's not just here. It's a human thing, I guess. And the role of an architect, if they do supervision, then is basically to protect you. It costs extra money, but they are supposed to bring all these issues to light and solve them before it costs more in the future. And I think this is a beautiful segue to another comment that we got, that like it's all about money.
Of course,
it's all about money, which like it feels like these days everything is about money. But the topic that we're talking about, first of all, the materials, as we established last time, are often not more expensive, or if they are, then they're a little bit more expensive. So the problem, I think, here is the availability, not the actual cost, because the cost would be the same if they would be properly imported and available like any other materials. And the thing that nobody really sees is even you spend a little bit more in your first build, you don't pay for renovation every 3 years. And like I had conversations with a couple of followers as well, and they came and say like it's like I really suffer from and they have like ALs like tourist accommodations. For them it's a business, and they basically say like every 2-3 years I have a proper investment to redo the house.
Yes.
And that's I think what we are talking about, that if you do the work properly, you might pay a little bit more because you actually put in better materials or more materials. Like if you put in an isolation, you need to pay for this isolation, right? But this isolation will save you in the future. So that's the whole point. And believe me, and you probably, if you have these problems, you know this by yourself, it's no fun at all.
Yeah,
Besides all the money and all these things, the actual hassle and inconvenience and disturbance in your life is not worth it, right? So I think it's really important that we pay attention up front, from the foundation upwards, that everything is done the right way.
Yeah.
And both of us will try to be more involved in that, because we are passionate about doing it as
right
good
way.
right way, or basically in a working way.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So people working, that was another comment, because I think there is this theme of, you're talking about a foreign country, you're talking about foreign materials, you probably bring your foreign workers. Not true. So you have your experience now with local workers.
Yeah, of course.
So tell me about it.
So they are perfect.
They're perfect.
I saw so many comments like, "Oh, you are bringing your own work." No, why? Workers in Madeira are very good. They are very humble. They are very hard-working people. They are working many things manually compared to our spoiled workers.
So they're still like used to work.
They're
right?
machines. It's unbelievable, like how hard they work, and they get used to really work very hard. I have a very high respect of that. I have a team of only workers, and I think that I choose really right people. They are willing to learn, although they have learned already, or they have very good education. A few of those are coming from UK, for example, where they've been working as in the construction. But unfortunately, they have like a different mindset, and it's not coming from workers. It's actually coming from their bosses, and it is everywhere. This is not the topic of local only or Madeira or Portugal only. It is also in other countries. So every single company is measured by profit, you know, and they would like to achieve better and better and better and better. So constant pressure on the workers is do it faster, do it cheaper, don't use this, don't use that, ignore this, we have been doing this all the time, cut the corners, and that's the problem. So those guys get used to do things differently because they've been told to do it differently, not because they don't want or because they don't know how to do it correctly. And when we start to renovate my house, we have a lot of examples of that. Like, are you going to use this material twice? It's expensive material. I say, yes. But as you correctly said, if I'm going to save 100 euro and next 15, 20, 50 years, I will be paying every second year 3,000 euro. I mean, what is that the logic to save 100 euro now and pay every single year, not only like money, but also the problems and discomfort and troubles and dirt in the house. So I cannot agree more what you said. In my country, we used to say we are not rich enough to buy cheap things, right? So
it's a good saying.
Very good saying. Like, if you want to make it right, do it. Don't look only on the cost. Don't chase the small peanuts, because it's gonna bite you in future. In the industry, many of your followers are expert and professionals in their field. In industry is very well known term TCO, total cost of ownership. So if you buy in a machinery, if you buy some asset, and if the asset is a physical asset, right? So there is always like a maintenance cost. And if you invest proper money and good capital expenditure at the beginning, and you set the things right, you significantly can reduce the TCO, which helps you to improve ROI. so, so, so the point is, you don't would like to save money.
Don't save money at the wrong point, I guess, right?
We can save everywhere else. Save in restaurants, save in clothes, save other things, but don't save on the construction, because if you don't. Example, we have before we were preparing the house to be painted, to be put the facade. First, very important thing. I'm paying my people, but they could not touch the facade 3 weeks after they put the final surface of massa or glue, because it's a curing time, and you cannot paint it with the primer before it's cured, and it takes usually 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the weather. And in my case, it was 4 weeks. I want to be sure, but there are companies who don't would like to have the group of people sitting waiting 3 weeks, doing nothing, or has not.
Also, they want to charge the job.
Exactly.
They want to write a bill.
Yes. So they cannot. But this is extremely important. If you are going to put the additional layer on the surface which is not prepared, I'm sure that those who has experience in cuisine or kitchen, they know that if you're making cakes or something, if you're making something, it has a technological process. If you screw the process,
a certain order, yeah.
Yes.
And like an important part to that is every single material was designed with a certain process in mind.
Exactly.
I think this is something that, like, these builders don't like. You said
Yes.
there's this example of the primer, like one primer.
Yes.
But the specifications of the product,
Yes.
they specify that you need two layers, right?
Yes.
So this is something that when you and you might find a product that needs 2 and another needs 3 and another needs whatever.
Yeah. Whatever
It's because the product was designed with that, and the product has a warranty, which is also for me a very interesting part, because when I was supervising these projects, that was a huge part of my work. Like, we make a contract with a builder, and the builder has a contract with his material suppliers, and there's like a chain of things, right? The material supplier has a certain quality with certain instructions. The building company needs to follow those instructions, and then I get the result. If it doesn't work and I have warranty, the first one is the building company. If they can prove that they did it right as per instructions, then this warranty goes to the material supplier, right?
Exactly.
So those things are generally very simple.
Yeah. But it needs to be kept as it was designed, as it was planned to do.
Yeah, and
prescribed.
And I guess this is where the building companies, the head of the company versus the worker, they are cutting the corners, because you can't expect this from the worker to know. The building company tells them, like, don't do this because we don't have the time, we don't have the money, but blah blah blah. But this is what we're basically talking about, and this is what I think was your experience with your workers.
Yes.
That you're actually now teaching them
Yeah.
to do it the way it's designed to do.
Yeah, the way how they look it, like, oh, you are going to, this primer is expensive. You are going to put 2 times. It's a lot of money. I say yes, because it's not a lot of money. I mean, it's €100. 2 buckets of the primer for the whole house. It's not, compared to value of the house, it's not a lot of money. First point.
Yes.
Second point, if you don't do it and you are paying 15,000-20,000 euro facade which is glue on it, and after 2 years it fall apart, is it really a lot of money to spend extra €100 in order to prevent a failure of 20,000 the facade? I don't think so. I think so it is very risky to not do it this way. So I said, no, don't worry about cost, just put it. The material needs to be there. And that is also like we were painting the part of the building in the morning, and there was a tendency like, okay, it's dry, we can go and we can put the facade. No, it needs to wait 24 hours minimum, for sure, full stop, no question. It needs to be like this way. Because, and this is not because I really like it. This is not because they want to make it wrong, because they get used to be extremely effective in terms of time,
Of course.
constantly pushing faster, faster, do it this way, do it this. Why are you waiting? So now we are trying to, of course, utilize the time differently. So we plan different parts of the house, different part of the different processes, but we are keeping the procedure as it should be. And I'm sure that your audience fully understand that, like if you are going to bake a bread, so you put the flour, you put water, you put the eggs, you put the yeast. If you put everything mixed together, mix it, put it in the oven, you have still the same content of flour, egg, water,
Just no bread.
but it's not bread. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
if you want to achieve the result which you're expecting, you have to follow the process.
And they're all laid out in
Absolutely.
the product, in the product.
Absolutely. And I see, as I told you last time in the last video, like now, my daughters, they told me that it's some sort of phenomenon of something like when you start to think about some topic, suddenly you see other problems. Suddenly you are looking around, and you are looking with a different lens, and you see there is a problem. It's almost like you become paranoid.
Yes.
Yeah, because and I see such a close to our house in like a 5 minutes walking the time. It's a beautiful project, beautiful house, extremely perfectly done concrete. One of the best I ever seen in Madeira. Really professional job, and they are now in the process to putting facade. They didn't put any primer. They just put the facade on it, and I'm so sorry for the owner. I don't know who is the owner. I'm very sorry, because I know that it will last maybe 3-4 years, and it start to be falling, because it will.
I have this problem now, like generally driving around on the island, like looking at all these new houses. There's when you go down to the Caleta Marina, there's this like this which hang on the cliff.
Yeah.
They don't have any. They don't even have a stone on the attic.
Attic, yeah.
Like it's incredible. But let's go back to the local workers, because I think one big issue here is the pay.
Yes, sure.
Which is the biggest issue,
Yeah,
really.
it is, yeah. Everyone is saying like there are no people. There is no good worker. No, there are so many people. It's just the matter you need to pay them. That's the point. But this is the topic everywhere. It's not the Madeira issue. It's in Germany, there are no workers. In Slovakia, there are no workers. They are not good workers anymore. There are 150. Recently, I was listening the news. There are 150,000 qualified workers missing in the industry, in like a industrial production. Yes, I mean, there is more demand.
I think there was a phase where people didn't want to do these kind of professions, and they preferred some like white collar job,
yes,
right? And they preferred to study, and they got better pay and all of those things. And I think I can see this in Austria as well, like the immigration, like that the borders get closed and you don't get foreign workers in. It's like all of that contributes that building companies basically have very little staff. Local people often don't want to do the work or are not qualified. But here in Madeira, I think we have lots of good workers. So it's still a paradise of hardworking people, right?
It is, and they are very skillful. They can do. I see in terms of. I mean, I cannot consider myself as expert of local labor situation in Madeira, but what I have been able to see, and I have some people working for me already. Two things: they are not paid well, they are not fairly paid. They are paid very low, and they have many times they don't have either no tools or not good tools. So the construction companies wants to charge the final clients with the premium price, but they forgot to pay well to the local people. They don't pay them regularly. I have one guy who's working now for me, and last year he was not paid 5 months. Just simply haven't been paid, which is, for me, it is like what? Like, it is for me absolutely unacceptable.
Yes.
So, and this is definitely no solo, or let's say like only one individual issue. This is every single one which I'm talking with, testimony is the same, that the discipline of the companies, construction companies, paying their own people, the level how they pay them is very low. So, but if you look to houses, they are multi-million prices. So, I think so that the problem is somewhere else. It's not the problem that
The money
workers.
wouldn't be there. The money is there.
Money is there. There is the demand. The market is completely oversaturated. There is a very good portion of course, we have to also put in like there is a project in this hospital in Funchal which absorb a big portion of capacity of workers, for sure, no problem. But there is still work. There are still workers out, and they are still working. You see that the houses are building. So if you look to the house similar to mine, it's like 2.5 million, and I know what are the costs, and there is a huge profit. There is a huge profit, and if you actually see to every single worker which is in the group, they have minimum wages, 800, 900 euro per month, and in few cases, or I wouldn't say many, but in few cases they are even not paid well every single month, that they have to wait. This is disgusting. I just, so everyone who's saying that there are no people, they are very good people, they are experts, they are very strong, skilled person, very hard working person. Unfortunately, they are not well paid, and they are sometimes not well treated. So
and they need to unlearn bad behavior.
Actually, no, they just need to unleash. They need to just flip the switch. That don't save money for whatever it may.
Unlearn what they learned from their construction company to save and to not follow certain things.
Yes. Right? So for example, when I start to buy tools for my guys, I feel in the faces they feel like a child.
Christmas.
Exactly. Like Christmas came in February. So we invest a lot of money for very high level, absolutely top, let's say, construction tools, in order to achieve. Because how we can expect that the work is going to do a really high quality work when there is no appropriate high quality tool, and also if there is a right tool, that some sort of load on the forces to the worker is less. So his back doesn't pain so much, his ergonomy is better, he's faster, he's more effective, and he's achieving stable outcomes, stable quality. So, and those tools are not that much expensive compared the prices of house. So if 90% of the construction companies would not be that much greedy, and they will pay back to their own people, and they will pay the right materials which are available. Some of those are. Yes, some of those materials are not available.
But if they would like to make a great quality,
they can import them.
They could import
them. If
I
can import them as a simple guy, for sure they can import them, and they have much more infrastructure, much bigger infrastructure I have here, where I'm starting. So if I can import them, they can as well. And if I can have the good guys, they can also have. If I can pay the professional tools, they also can. So it's just the willingness. Like those companies or owners needs to invest that one, not only just milking the cow and pulling the leg of clients, but also invest the money back into business people and safety and ergonomy and efficiency and all those things. So it's nothing impossible, and it's feasible.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
So any other things, or do we keep them for next time? Because I think it was a long one today.
Maybe last video we were talking. I make a little spoiler. We were talking about the wooden structure.
Yes.
So I'm starting
an update.
Yes, update. So good news.
Good news.
Last week I got the unofficial information that my project next land has been approved.
Okay.
I just need to wait.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was waiting a long time, so I'm very happy. So we already start the production of the house in our production in Slovakia. So in 2 weeks officially I should receive the documents where there will be requirements to pay the tax, and to have this license to withdraw the building license, and then we start building the house. And you together, your audience will be more than welcome to see
Looking
the
forward to
yes,
that.
to see the things how we build the house. It is gonna be a 3 apartment building. It will be built a combination of concrete and wood. It will be concrete for the part which is in the soil, because I don't have the flat land. So
the retaining
those
walls.
structures, exactly, those structures, it will be like walk-out basement. It will be like one floor, and above the floor will be 2 maisonette, and it will be fully wood structure made from structural isolated panels structure, which means it's acronym SIP, SIP. And I spend a lot of time to searching what is the best building technology or building system for this island, and I choose this one because of many reasons which we can discuss on the way as we will be building it. And I've been making my due diligence in order to understand what are the pros and cons of all actual available building system. We are collaborating with the top European SIP manufacturer. We didn't want to work with someone who is just buying the panels and cutting them and making. We are working with the really professionals which are making their own panels, which is for me very important that they have the control of the quality in their hands. So we have very good connection, very skillful engineering teams supporting us. All our structures or all our houses are going to be C3 hurricane proof. So all structures has very, I can share some details, has very strong static analyze, fully resistant to not only to 30 meters per second wind force as it's given by camera, but double, which is up to 207 kilometers per hour wind speed, which is basically C3 hurricane, right? And the houses will be fully resistant for that, seismically completely calculated and satisfying the local requirements of the earthquake and the seismic forces.
Far going beyond, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And it will be at the net zero, not the passive, but net zero standard. They can be built if the basement is ready or foundation is ready. They can be built within like 2-3 weeks, assembled, and then it's coming outside envelope, and then of course interior finishing. So I would say like 3-4 months. That's the that's the plan, to finish the house within 3-4 months. Maybe first houses will be a little bit longer because the team needs to be certified and needs to be learned to do it. So we went through multiple trainings, we went through multiple certification. Now we are ready to start. We have all tools, equipment ready. The house, as we will progress the production, the house will be done with my guys, with our team, with the supervision of experts from the partner. So after training, of course. And this will be done this way, multiple projects in future, until we get really fully adapted, certified, and certified we are, but until we get really experienced enough that we can do those structures by our own, and it will be our showroom. So I'm building basically 2 apartments which will be available for try. So I'm one of the foreigner who built a villa in Caleta, and I fully understand and fully admit that I'm one of those who contribute to price booming in the island. Although I didn't sell my house, so I built just for myself, my family. But I have 2 daughters, and they are teenagers. So I realizing that in future it will be extremely difficult for them to pay household and to actually develop the house for themselves. So I feel to put something back on the island and bring some technology which is gonna significantly reduce the cost of production. Effectively, we are 40 to 50% cheaper than anybody else, although we are 100% watertight. The system which we are bringing is built to build the houseboats. So what is the better way how to prove water isolation?
Yes.
than to build a boat. So it is really good. We have the house standing many years in São Miguel in Azores. This house is on the north part in São Miguel, in north part of island, and is 15 meters from coast, from the ocean, and it's there. It is Airbnb. I've been staying there. It's very, very good quality. It's every one of you, if you want. Can I say my website?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so my website is builtinmadeira.com. So we are building the new
Put
website.
it in the description.
We are putting, and there you can find the house which is in Azores. The building system we are working with is has more than 900 project houses built all over the Europe, mainly like a Norway, Finland, and Holland, Germany, where the weather is also very harsh and much more humid than here. And if someone wants, they can rent a blue house in Azores, and they can experience. But for that purpose, we are building the showroom here, which will be for the clients who wants to experience different building structure, different environment of the building. So I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward. This is
Me too.
This is new project, and I would like to officially welcome you and invite you to be part of that and see that. And we will explain as we go through the.
Yeah, I think that's a very good kind of case study to show how to deal with the different problems from the ground up and how to solve them.
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of time
Yeah.
in researching, in finding the right system, in also learning about materials and these
Yes.
things. So I'm very excited about that, and
Yeah.
I hope one day we can build our own house with
Sure.
the system.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
goody good. Then let's end it here. So if you have any questions, you want to continue this conversation, we'll make another session
Yeah.
follow up to this. But I think today we covered three very interesting and very important areas.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time.
Welcome. Thank
I
you.
hope that you can see us because the sun is going down behind us, and we're sitting just kind of the wrong direction.
Yes.
So,
But we want to have a nice outlook for you.
yes, if we are just black silhouettes, sorry for that.
Or maybe they like it more.
All right. Thank you so
thank
much.
you so much. Thank you.
See you next time.
See you.